Welcome back. You're listening to the Mike Gray Real Estate Hour, heard every weekend on AM 1380. I'm Mike Gray from Morris Williams Realty, and my co-host of this segment is Michelle Millard from Villara Solar. Welcome, Michelle.
Hi, Mike.
Oh, I am so glad you're here, and I am so excited to share some information with our listeners.
I want to hear it.
Yeah, well, one of the things, Villara put my solar system in my house. I live up on the other side of Auburn in a small community called Cool, and we have a fairly large home. And the home isn't that old, but our electric bill was quite high after 1 year. And so we decided that we needed to go with solar. I had a terrible experience with the previous solar company. And I talked to some friends who used to be part of Butler Heating and Air, which is now Villara Building Systems. And they suggested that, that they come out and is one of the presidents of the company, Rick, just suggested, well, give us a try. And you guys came out. I met you, and I decided to go with you. You were so upfront, so honest, and so said, this is what your solar system will do. So I did. I went with Villara Solar. They're now a show partner here because I am so pleased with what they have done. And one of the things they promised was a 30% tax credit.
Yes, we did.
Okay, and so I thought, well, that'll be nice. And, you think about it and you realize it's going to help you in your taxes. But I have just finished my taxes for 2016. Now, my system was a fairly large system, $32,000 was what I spent for my solar system. I'll just let people know that. And 30% of that was a tax credit. And I went and picked my taxes up from my CPA this last week. And he said, well, you would have owed this. But instead, you're going to owe $9,580 less because that solar credit comes right off the bottom line of your tax bill. And I just smiled from ear to ear. So thank you, Michelle. I'm so glad you were in today that I could just say thank you. That was a significant savings. Basically, instead of paying the U.S. government, they paid for 30% of my solar installation.
Yes. What a sweet moment that is, right?
It was. It was very, very nice. So I give you all the credit there.
I will take it. I will take all of it. Thank you.
And that still exists for people who put solar in 2017, correct?
Yes, absolutely. It's been extended. So, it's prime time. This is usually when I get pretty busy because people realize that solar system that they thought about putting up, they're like, oh, we should have done it.
Yes.
Yes, especially after listening to you.
and especially we've had now sunny weather and the real, the months are, my solar system did very well even during the winter months. It just doesn't do quite as well on rainy days just because there's no sun. But it did, it produced some nice electricity during the winter months. But I know that coming March, April, May, June, July, August, September, and October, it really does a nice job for me. And so a lot of people are thinking, well, the sunny times are coming. Maybe I should think about solar. And there are a lot of choices out there. It's a big industry here in Northern California. And I have worked with one of the major firms, and I've worked with Villara, and the difference was simply night and day. And Michelle, your system did exactly what you told me it would do. The installation crew was just so professional, so courteous. They were very, very neat. It was put in right when they said they were going to do it. I can log on to the computer, see what my system is doing. Matter of fact, it sends me an email once a month telling me exactly what my system is doing. And it is so reassuring to work with somebody who delivers exactly what they have promised.
I appreciate that. I think we strive very, very hard to make sure that the customer has expectations that have been not only met, but exceeded. I love to get the compliments on the crew. I love hearing that, they did exactly what they said they were going to do, and then some.
Yes.
We've often, we've cleaned gutters before. We've done a little extra here and there. We're up there. So, it's nice to have that feedback from my customers, knowing that they've had a good experience.
Yeah, and I'm not the pickiest person in the world, but I like things neat.
You like straight lines.
I like straight lines. And I asked them, could you just follow the roof lines when you're running the conduit? And that was not the cheaper way to go. They could have just cut right across, but instead they just followed the lines. They moved it over. They had probably 3 or 4 more right angles than they would have had to have if they just would have cut across. But they said, sure, no problem at all. They never even questioned it. It looks really, really nice. And I got the savings, I got the tax credit, and I got the customer service that it's just kind of rare nowadays. So.
It is. I was thinking about that today. I had a little experience myself at a coffee house, and I was thinking, I really wish I was running this myself.
Well,
I think that's important.
Yeah, and I really try to, one of the reasons I have been as successful as I've been in real estate is that I really try to treat people right Communication is really, really important to me. And I believe that if I earn your business, you're in good hands. I know what I'm doing. And that's the same thing with Villara Solar. You knew what you were doing, Michelle. Everything that you said would happen happened exactly as you said, completely contrary to my previous solar experience. And I mean, you really had to convince me to do this, because when you first came out and we were talking about this, I said, I don't know. I really got burned.
You were a little timid, yes. I recall.
But Villara has such a great guarantee as part of their system, which I thought was highly unusual. I'd never seen from another solar company. That if it didn't produce what you said it produced, you'd come take it off.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you put the roof back the way it was. And so it was pretty amazing. But of course, it did exactly what you said. So if any of our listeners are out there are thinking about solar, do I have the right? I mean, I referred a couple clients to you and Villara, and we were talking to them. And then I was talking to some people in your office. They said, well, it really did make sense for them to put solar.
Right.
Because of the amount of their electric bill, their location.
Shading, different reasons,
right.
Sure.
And, well, that's refreshing to hear. You know what? We'd love to sell you our solar system, but it doesn't make economical sense for this client. And they called back and said, yeah, we're not going to put it on because it just didn't make sense for us financially at the moment, because it just wasn't going to pay back quick enough. And I thought, boy, that's the kind of company that I like to have as a show partner here. So, again, I'm kind of really kind of praising you guys this weekend, but I saved a lot of money, and it's doing exactly what you said it would do. And so I'm so thankful for that.
Thank you.
So you have something else you want to quickly share and let our listeners know about solar?
Yes, I do. You and I were reviewing your most recent PG&E bill. And when I speak to this, I'm going to be mostly talking about PG&E because they are the major utility in the area. So what they have is a net energy metering agreement with the customer. So when you put solar on your roof, you have an agreement with PG&E that they will buy the excess power from you at a certain rate, just like you buy from them, because there's going to be certain times that you're producing more energy than you can use. This net energy metering agreement is very important for the solar structure and how this works. So sizing of a system is also equally important. When we looked at your system size, we looked at how much electricity you consumed.
Correct.
Solar is wonderful. It does amazing things, but it's not magic. It's not magic leprechauns up on your roof just making energy. So we do size it appropriate to what your usage is and what your roof can hold. So if someone has a smaller roof than what their energy or their electric bill can allow, so the production is smaller, that's really important to look at all of that information. The reason I bring it up right now is because the net energy metering agreement has changed. There has been a cap that is reached with the first version of this agreement. The second version, 2.0, has come into place. It's still wonderful. It still makes complete sense to look at solar. The difference is that if someone has a very small roof, and they are not going to be producing very much electricity. Let's say they're producing 30-40% of the energy that their household consumes. Okay, in that case, what could potentially happen is they would be selling energy back to PG&E, and the rate that they would be selling it could potentially be a very, very low rate compared to what they're buying it from PG&E.
So it's not going to offset as much as they want.
Right. So sizing is extremely important as is, but now especially more important under the new agreement with solar. So it's just, I want to stress the importance of having a professional look at the size of the system and not just my neighbor has 26 panels. I have the same floor plan. I must need 26 panels. Very, very different kind of energy consumption going on.
Yeah, and I want to kind of touch on another point too. Again, I'm going to talk about my personal experience with Villara. I think I probably talked to you, the system went up last summer, early summer, and I make a copy of my PG&E bill and I send it directly to you.
Yes, you do.
You were my point person. And even though my system has been in for over a year, you email me back saying this is what it's doing, and these are things that you could maybe change to do it. And so we changed my in December. We changed my billing cycle, not my billing cycle, but
the rate plan.
The rate plan,
yes.
And that was your recommendation. You said I think you can save a little bit more money by changing your rate plan, and I never would have figured that out on my own. So I just really again appreciate the fact that Villara Solar just goes above and beyond what the normal solar company does. And so if you're thinking about solar, you give me a call, 530-431-8586. I'm going to put you in touch with Michelle. She'll do a great, great job for you. Again, that number is 530-431-8586. We'll be back right after this break.